Hello, everyone. It's Shanda J, your BCBA. I'm here to provide you with the information and content related to working in the field of applied behavior analysis, specifically supporting the adult population and offering caregiver training. Our motto is helping you succeed by working together to identify ways that create a learning environment for change. Are you in the field of applied behavior analysis? Do you support the adult population? Are you tirelessly searching for the right literature, information to help guide you in supporting the individuals you serve? Well, you're at the right place. Welcome to Shanda J, your BCBA presents. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to welcome Miss Denise Sherer. Did I say it right? Sherer
Yeah.
Jacobson, a truly remarkable advocate, author, and figure in the disability rights movement. For those of you who do not know who Denise is, she is a story consultant and featured personality in the critically acclaimed Netflix documentary Crip Camp, A Disability Revolution. Her impactful journey has also been highlighted in incredible deleted scenes from Crip Camp's Denise backstory. Denise is not only a compelling voice in film, but also an accomplished author of the memoir, The Question of David, a disabled mother's journey through adoption, family, and life. Her extensive work includes a contribution to numerous blogs, short stories, and articles. She has lectured and trained on disability related issues around the country since 1972, addressing audiences from preschoolers to physicians. Her profound influence extends to serving on the Mayor's Commission on Persons with Disability in Oakland, and she was an interviewer and editor for the Disability Rights and Independent Living Movement at UC Berkeley's Regional Oral History Office. She's also receptive. I'm sorry, excuse me. I apologize. She also has the prestigious honors like the Spirit of Independence Award and the Kathleen Lyle Murray Lecture Award. Thank you so much, Denise, for being here. I'm so happy that you took the time out to meet with little old Shanda J. Yes, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
So, my question to you, thinking back, what were some significant experiences or moments during your upbringing that helped shape you today?
So, when I was little, I felt like I had a regular upbringing. My parents didn't really treat me any differently than my older sister. And yeah, my sister and I love each other, but we got into fights like every other sibling, and so I felt that I was okay. Um, However, yeah, I knew that the world around me didn't see me the way I saw myself. So that was always my awareness. And I felt like I had to prove that I was just as capable of anybody else.
And I'm so glad that you said that, Miss Denise. You don't mind if I call you Miss Denise, do you? Or do you prefer Denise?
Yeah,
Okay. So, Miss Denise, I'm so glad that you said that because a mantra that I live by, because, I work with adults with disability, mental health disorders. And I always like to say, yes, you have this diagnosis. Yes, you have this condition, but it does not define who you are. It's just a label to give you the resources you need to be successful, but it does not put you in a box. So I'm so glad that you mentioned how at home, you were just Denise, but in the world, you were Denise with the label, with the disability, the wheelchair, things of that nature. So I'm glad you brought that up. How has engaging in advocacy played a role in shaping and bringing you to where you are now?
I I think I was an advocate from the moment I was born, um, because having a disability gives everyone a different perspective, and it makes us more compassionate and more understanding. Um, and it shows people that everybody has differences, but we are all human beings. And so I've always um thought of that um in growing up, and then I grew a lot more bolder
Mm.
after I went to camp and I went to college, and in that time there was a lot happening. There was the anti-war movement, the civil rights movement, the
Mm.
women's movement. Is how I began to think with my friends, well, why isn't there a disability
Mm.
movement? Because we were oppressed
Mm.
and we still are oppressed, even though we've made a lot of progress, but we have to keep reminding people.
And I like how you said that even though you were there in the beginning, and you're telling your age because you said during the civil rights movement. I said, oh, she's been around for a while. I thought you was a young lady. You've been a while but for you to mention, being around during the civil rights movement, all of that, and to still see, despite your contributions, there's still that oppression. That speaks volumes on how us as a society, we have to continue to fight for individuals to have that voice. Because, like you said, that stigma is still there where people look at you physically and automatically give you that label, not realizing you're a human being, not you, but just anybody. We're all human beings. Just so happen we might just have, some shortcomings that make us not be able to do the same thing as everybody else, but at the same time, we're all human. And I just commend you for bringing up your accolades of, going to college and things like that. Just planting the seed for anybody who is listening to this to know, despite what others are telling around you, you are more than capable to do whatever your heart desires.
Right. Right. I think everybody needs to remember that nobody is perfect. Nobody. you know, and, and that's okay.
Yes.
It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to be disabled. It's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be an ethnic minority. And people often don't remember that.
Yes. Yes. And I'm glad you brought it up just to remind our audience. Yes. So, my next question is, do you still experience ableism in your daily life or in specific contexts? If so, could you share an example or two?
Well, uh, I remember when my son David was a little boy, and I remember taking him to the park or to school or wherever we were going, and people were just blown away that I was his mother. And,
Mm.
and they used to talk to him instead of
Mm.
me, and they were asking that they, they would say, oh, you're such a good boy. You take care of your mother. And he would say, no, my mother takes care of me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's an ableistic concept that because I'm disabled, I can't raise my child, or I can't have a relationship, or I'm supposed to listen to what people tell me I can do rather than having them be open to the idea that I'm capable.
Yes, yes. And I'm so glad you brought that up, just your personal experience. And you said with your son, right?
Yeah,
It's you saying that there's probably so many other individuals who have children who have the same circumstances where people doubt their parenting skills just because of their disability or their physical condition.
yeah,
So I'm sorry you had to go. I don't even know why I'm apologizing. It's just in my nature.
uh,
But it just, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I'm also thankful that your son has you as a mother, because what I've learned about you up until this point, you're very strong and you speak up. So when you are in those circumstances, I can just imagine you just speaking up, letting it be known, setting those boundaries so they don't get crossed. So yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
You know, I I was not the perfect parent, but nobody is a perfect parent. We gotta get over ourselves.
And I like how you keep emphasizing the P word, perfect, perfect. And one word that makes me cringe, I'm going to be honest, is normal. Oh, that's a cringe word for me. And the reason why I say that, because there's no such thing as normal. There's nobody is perfect. The only person that was perfect, I am spiritual and I believe in God. And God had Jesus. That was the only person that was perfect that walked this earth, but nobody's perfect. And for you, not you, I'm just speaking in general, for a person to strive for perfection, all you do, it, all you do in actuality, and I'm speaking from personal experience, you create anxiety, you create depression, you create all these mental health issues because you're striving for something that's not real. Same thing with being normal, trying to be normal. You need to be normal where there is no normal. Nobody's normal. being un being abnormal is normal.
And you know what? I don't wanna be normal.
Yes.
I wanna be who I am.
Yes, 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 yes. We're gonna have to hashtag that. Yes. All right. So my next question is, for someone experiencing ableism, particularly concerning their sexuality or within their family dynamics, because I know you had expressed something you personally experienced that was in the documentary where you basically had a sexual encounter with someone and it actually resulted in you getting a sexually transmitted disease. But when you went to the doctor, as opposed to them focusing on the reason for your visit, they actually use that to condemn you and put you down for having sex as someone with special needs. And with that being, and I don't want to say special needs, but someone who had a disability. And then from there, you kind of use that momentum to take as fire to take you further in achieving a lot of your goals and your ambitions. And for
Yeah.
those of you who have not watched Crip Camp, throughout Miss Denise's journey, she ended up getting married. God rest his soul. He's no longer with us, but she had 40 years of a wonderful marriage. So when it comes to individuals that, concerning their sexuality, and then you have the family dynamics, what advice would you offer? And I just bring that up because many families, out of love, actually cause harm by exacerbating vulnerable moments like emotional distress or
right,
fostering codependency, which can hinder an individual's growth towards independence. So I'll just give you an example of something I see every day working with adults, where you have the family member who has sheltered this individual. You know, you got disability, so I want to shelter you and I want to protect you because I want the best for you. But then it becomes overwhelming because as the parent starts to age and the reality sets in, you know, I'm going to pass soon. Now you have that moment of codependency where this person has depended on you for everything. And now, as a parent, you're
right,
getting overwhelmed with the idea of, oh, who's going to take care of my child, when you never presented them the opportunities to be independent, to be on their own. And then it also ties into sexuality, where I don't know, but I do know from someone personally telling me, I don't want my child with disabilities to have a child because that will be my responsibility, not their responsibility. So my question to you is, how can someone who does have a disability or within the neurodivergent population, how can they navigate such complex family dynamics?
I think you gotta start with the family and people like you who work with families need to bring it up and say, you know, your child is getting older. He's no longer a little boy, or she's no longer a little girl. And they're gonna experience feelings of sexuality. They're gonna start wondering, will they ever have a partner? Will they ever find romance or love? And so they need to be prepared. And the other side of that is that I think if you look at the statistics, um, 92% of all people with disabilities have been in a sexually abusive
Mm,
situation, either by a caretaker or by someone else.
mm,
And so they need to know what is okay and what is not okay. So they don't get taken advantage of. So the parents are not protecting them by not giving them information or by not acknowledging that they're growing into adults and they're gonna experience about feeling, and that includes being sexual, whatever that may look like for them.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you brought up the sexual abuse part in the statistic. I hear so many stories because I work with adults that not only live at home with family but also live in residential settings, due
Mm,
to just so happen they require a lot of needs and support, and the family can't do it, so the individual ended up in a residential setting. It happens to all of us. But with that being said, I always hear between either the family or the staff members, I like it when the individual just do whatever I say. And I shouldn't say it like that.
mm,
So I'll use it another way because I felt like what I said can be taken out of context. So for example, somebody may come to me as a behavior analyst and say, oh, they're being non-compliant. They're not listening to me. And normally, when I hear that, I like to say, it's okay. We need to honor that. Because if we sit here and we encourage this person to not have a voice, to not say no, you actually put them more at risk to be in a vulnerable situation like being
yes,
sexually assaulted. So, for example, you're constantly forcing this person to not resist, to do whatever you say. So now
yeah,
they end up in a vulnerable situation where somebody is touching them inappropriately, somebody is taking advantage of them. They're going to go along with it because they have been taught by everybody around them, I can't say no. So I'm so glad you brought that up. And to anybody listening, I want to encourage, specifically if you're in the field of ABA or the field of human services. ABA is the acronym for Applied Behavior Analysis. I want to encourage, when you do hear that key word, resistance or non-compliance, as opposed to you just coming into it with a solution, well, we need to get them to stop that. Instead, figure out the reason behind the why and support that instead. So that way that individual has that voice.
yeah.
All right. So oh, we're wrapping up. So I want to make sure, okay, wrapping up. So when I watched Crip Camp, I saw this and my heart melted. And if you end up watching Crip Camp, it's on Netflix. It ended with Miss Denise saying, "You can pass a law until you change society. That law won't mean a thing." So, what does this statement mean to you, and how do you see it applying to our efforts for a more inclusive society today?
Yeah, I, I think if you look at the history of our country, of the United States, there's been a lot of laws passed to give people rights, like women having the right to vote, or desegregation. And we have laws, but until society can see that we're all human beings, um, it's still gonna be hard to convince people that we have a right to an education, that we have a right to get into a building, that we have a right to get on a bus. And I think what we need to do is start educating
Mm.
children, start educating a generation, um, and start in preschool. You know, um, I, I've my kids went to preschool, and every year that he went to school, I would go into his school and talk about disability. I,
Yes.
I would let any kid ask me anything, and I find that the kids who grew up with and look at disability very differently. You know, people are afraid of disability
Mm.
because it looks different and they think it's a different kind of life, and they're afraid of it because they don't know a lot about it, and nobody they grew up with knows a lot about it. The teachers, the family. So you gotta start when the kids are very young, so that they could be comfortable with people like me and people that you work with, you know, and not be afraid of being friends with them or getting to know them. But that's where it has to begin.
Yes. And what I got from you is education, and then also educating the kids. So that way, when they get older, they have a full understanding of the population, how to connect with the population, and
Yeah,
basically just be aware.
yeah.
All right. So but we're actually going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for your time, Denise. Before we wrap up, could you share how our viewers can connect with you and learn more about your amazing work?
Well, I do have a website. Um, it's Denise Sherer com, and I just put it up, and I'm establishing an Instagram account. They could also find me on Facebook. So anybody want to contact me, um, can contact me through Facebook on my website.
All right. So what I'm going to have for all my viewers watching this in the description, of this video, everything that Miss Denise just shared, her Facebook, her Instagram, and her website will all be listed in the description section. So thank you so much, Denise, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. For everyone watching, Denise encourages you to check out her first book, The Question of David, available on
Yeah.
Amazon. You can also read her powerful guest blogs, Times to Speak, Part 1 and 2, on the Columbia University Winberg Family Cerebral Palsy Center's website. And keep an eye out for her new book, The Unexpected Summer of a Reluctant Camper, about her first summer at Camp Janine. Is it Janine? Did I pronounce that right?
Jeanette,
Janine.
Jeanette,
Okay, Jened.
yeah,
To stay updated on all of Denise's incredible work and advocacy, make sure to follow her on social media. All the links for everyone we've discussed today, her book, blog, social media, and all of that is conveniently located in the description box below. So if you listen to this, the seed has been planted. The question is, how are you going to apply it? From the one and only Shanda J, your BCBA. All right, see you guys.
thank you.